Well, hey there, folks. Good morning. Happy Friday, everybody. Love these Fridays. So today I I finally got back into getting making lists. Actually, got back into making lists yesterday after having spent like I don't know 5 days, the past 5 days, just not really making lists like I usually do, and I could actually feel myself getting increasingly stressed out day by day. Like at first, I was doing okay. Like over the weekend, I didn't make any lists, right? Last Saturday, I think I didn't make any lists at all. And I was okay with that because it was a weekend and I still got a few things done. And then Sunday, it was like, well, I didn't make any lists yesterday. I was okay. And so I didn't make any lists on Sunday. And then the weekend was over. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday rolled around. And it was like, well, I didn't have time for lists. I didn't have time for lists. Like, writing stuff down on a piece of paper is so hard. But I still ended up not doing it because, I just didn't. I got up, had my coffee, browsed the internet. What's going on Reddit today? How are my stocks doing? Stocks were doing terrible this week, by the way. Then I take the kids to school. I get back here. I start planning for this live stream, and just didn't. By the time I started teaching class, I just didn't have a list going, and so I didn't make one. And then yesterday, I was feeling really down. Like I knew that I was accomplishing things. I knew I was getting things done, but I didn't have any way to quantify it. And I felt I was starting to get those feelings like I'm barely hanging on. I'm barely functioning, which is not a good way to feel when you're a middle-aged adult and you're supposed to have your act together. And so I sat down and I made a list. And then I wasn't going to do one today. And I was like, no, Laura. No. You need to keep at it. Okay. You can't just skip because you want to. You need to make this a routine. It was working for you. You need to keep at it because it won't keep working for you if you don't do it. So I made another list for today, and it's a good thing I did because I've got a lot of things to do. The usual stuff on here, taking attendance, grades. I've got some research videos that I'm personally learning a little bit of personal finance and investing. Read a book. I've been reading. This is my current book that I've been reading. Really good book, actually. It's a bit about small businesses. Dishes. It was trash day yesterday, so I got to take up the trash cans, and we've got some more recycling and stuff to take out. So that needs to be taken out. That'll feel really good having the house cleaned up. Oh, I should probably put on sweep the floors because my 5-year-old son he's a messy eater, and the space under the table is always just horrendous. So let's put that on there. Sweep floors. I know it's such a simple task. Like it almost feels like I shouldn't put it on the list because it's so simple and so easy. But, those are actually the best things to put on a to-do list are the simple, easy things because you can cross them. You can just do the task. You have 5 or 10 minutes laying around throughout the day. You can do that task. You can cross it off your list and you feel good about crossing it off your list. I try and make an effort to get everything except for if I can end the day, like put the kids to bed and have everything but 2 or 3 items crossed off my list. Like I never try and get every single thing. If it works out that way, it's great, but I never try and get every single thing off my list. Like I manage my expectations so that by the time I put the kids to bed, if I've got 2 or 3 items that haven't been crossed off, then that is a good day. That's a win for me. Because usually, after the kids go to bed, 8 o'clock or so, that's time for me and my wife to sit down and watch a movie, or, I come on my computer and stream for a bit, or whatever I'm gonna. That's me time. That's us time. After the kids are in. And whether I want to sit on the couch and watch a movie, I can feel like I can do that. Like, hey, I've accomplished stuff today. I've earned a little bit of me time or some relaxation time. But even if I don't do that, I can still come over to my computer and, if there's a simple thing that I can, one of those 2 or 3 items I can still cross off my list, I can do that too. So I've got the options. I don't feel like I have to work late into the night to get everything done. And that is a really good feeling to have. That's, for me, that's that work-life balance that we're all chasing. We all say that we want, but not everybody gets to have, So yeah, I typically do my to-do tasks as, see if that focus is there. There we go. As an unordered list. Those of you who are familiar with your Word documents, that what an unordered list, it's that little bullet point, doesn't have numbers on it. It's not prioritized. And that's kind of how I like to do these types of tasks, is just whatever needs to get done. My wife is a big calendar person. She's got her day pretty well calendared out. She's the family calendar keeper. So whenever someone's asking me, hey, are you free on a certain date? I'm like, hey, babe, am I free on a certain date? That's just kind of how it goes. But me, I'm more of an unordered list kind of thing. Like, as long as it's, hey, cat. You guys hear him in the background. He really wants to go outside, but he's not an outside cat, are you? You're not an outside kitty. Come here. No, you come here. You're coming here. Oh. Everybody likes cats, right? This is Sergeant Pepper. He's a chonker. You're a chonker, aren't you, buddy? Aren't you? Yeah. Yeah. He loves love and attention. And he likes going outside for little bits of time, but he's not an outside cat, so we can't let him outside for too long. No. Rigby! What's up, buddy? And then the little boy, the long boy here, tail all puffed up for some reason. He doesn't really like being picked up, but he's such a lovey. He's such a lovey cat. He's not as much of a cuddle. He cuddles, just not the same way. Anyway, that was fun. Cats are fun. I like cats. But yeah, so this is how I do my to-do lists, these unordered lists. And I can just cross things off, and depending on if I got a free minute, I can be like, okay, what can I knock off this list in the next 10 minutes? And that's the system that works for me for this type of task. But it's not the only organizational structure that I use. This is the structure that I use for when I'm doing like videos. Actually, I just started outlining my videos recently. It's not something that I usually do. Of course, I don't usually make YouTube videos. This is kind of a new thing for me. So I started experimenting with outlining videos, and this is an upcoming one that I've been planning. And what I'm trying to do is spend, maybe 30 minutes to an hour a day doing something for a YouTube channel, towards a YouTube video. I'm still working on my my wood burning video, since I decided that I was going to do a little bit more artwork for it. It wasn't really going the direction I wanted, so I need to spend a little more time this weekend working on that. But hey, quality over quantity. So, but this is another video I started thinking about. Well, these art project videos, they take a long time, a lot of planning, because good art takes a while. What can I do in the interim? Can I do teaching videos? And so I was coming up with ways that I could let's see if that scrolls there. There we go. Really put a lot of my info, the stuff that I need to keep organized with a video, into a format that's going to make sense for me. So a lot of these unordered lists, but it's it's unordered, but it's still in sort of kind of an order. So I have this is a script that I'm putting together for installing a dado blade on the SawStop table saw. My SawStop saws and product videos. Cat, you bugging? You bugging? My product review videos, those tend to do really well because, people want to see products. So I was like, well, there's lots of things that I could teach, tool and woodworking wise that, would be interesting and useful to people. You're just going to have to ignore him because he's trying to get outside. So things like what's a dado blade? How do you install it on a SawStop? There's some special considerations that you have to have for that. It takes a different size brake. But then adding in things like, YouTube specific things like call to action. Hey, if you like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. And that stuff is really, the teaching stuff is easy for me because I've been teaching for over 10 years. But the YouTube specific things like remembering to add in calls to action and, how to cleverly add in things like product placements and, affiliate links and, hey, check out the link in the description without making it sound like a overt advertisement, kind of sneaking it in there with the educational content. That's the new stuff for me. That's the challenge. Setting up setting up shots and telling that story from one thing to another. That's what's new for me. And organizing. I haven't put anything in description. I've just started learning how to do things like keyword search, SEO optimization. I mean, I'm not very good at it, but nobody is when they first start. But learning how to use like my TubeBuddy app to, figure out, well, what are good keywords in this category? Tags, just stealing tags from other successful videos. Affiliates, like, hey, how can I start the process of monetizing this? Because that's why people do YouTube. Is, well, you do it because you like it, but then if you're going to do it more than just a straight up hobby, then hey, how are you going to make some money off of it? So I have that, and that's kind of bare bones outline. I was thinking, can I make this a little bit nicer? So I ended up taking sort of the similar format, and then adding in, just some nice, a nice look to it. I'm not super crazy about having everything in tables. I'll probably, because there's certain things you can't do with outlines that I like being able to do. Ooh, Kitty's fighting now. The little one likes to antagonize the big one, and but they do get along. They just play rough sometimes. So these are all the same categories, all the same items as the previous one, except that it just looks a little bit prettier. So I'm still figuring out the format, like how I want this. If I print this out and take it into shoot some video. Is this going to be useful for me, or is it better just to, save the black ink and keep it in just a plain outline, stuff like that. So try not to get too fancy with the outline. I mean, this isn't something that's really going to be shared with other people. I mean, I'm sharing it with you guys, but it's not like I have a studio where, I'm handing out shot sheets for everybody or whatever they call them. And they need to read them and figure out what everything is supposed to be. So, just there's so many different ways of organizing your thoughts and information and stuff like that. And, you got to find what works for you. So anywho, woo. The little one is running from the big one now and literally bouncing off the furniture. Like, he's trying to do parkour or something. Not so great for the back of our couch, but that's cats for you. Anyway, guys, we're going to end it here and Thanks for watching. See you next time.